It is baseball time on Taco Tuesday here in Texas. This is Game On Sports production of Highland Park Scots Baseball. Along with Hayward Lee and Cookie Hawkins and Gabe Scott, I am Rob Davis. We're here to bring you the game, and this is an important game, Hayward.
Well, Rob, a lot to unpack here, but let's start with the most important thing first. It's like we're watching two gigantic balls of momentum rolling downhill on a bullseye dead aim collision course for each other. We've got the Scots, who have won 8 district games in a row, facing the J.J. Pearce Mustangs, who have won 11 of their last 12. They had a streak of 9 in a row, broken up by a 6-5 loss, and then capped by 2 victories leading into this one. A 3-way logjam at the top of District 7-6A, Rob. We've got both J.J. Pearce, Highland Park, as well as the Dallas Jesuit Rangers, all with identical 12-2 marks. As we speak, Jesuit is playing Richardson High School, the Eagles, whom the Scots just finished a 2-game series against. They're playing their 2-game series to conclude the season, and this one right here has huge ramifications for District 7-6A, the regular season title, playoff matchups and seedings. There's a lot going on here. I think it's important to remind the folks at home, this J.J. Pearce Mustang team won the district last year.
Yes, they did.
So they are the defending champions, and you got to believe in their dugout. They're saying, hey, all roads lead through us.
Yes, that is exactly what they're saying, because they're right there at the top, just as Highland Park and the Jesuit Rangers are. So Jake Pryor, Jack True, Parker Stevens, the 3 team captains, will get things underway. They're facing tonight left-hander Caden Varner. They call him Specs because of his glasses.
Everybody on this team has a nickname.
That was great hearing that from the PA announcer. And next pitch is up high, ball 1-1. This is the first of 2 left-handed starters we're going to see this week.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Ripley at first base, last season's District Pitcher of the Year as a sophomore.
There will be no shortage of outstanding pitching in this series.
That is correct. We have Max Stemmel on the mound for the Scots, so this could be done in about an hour and 15 minutes.
or
it could take
7 or 8 extra innings. You never know.
You never know. You just don't ever know.
I do think the quality of baseball is going to be very high, and probably just a little tinge of pressure both teams will be facing as these 2 games carry so much implication for postseason.
Varner misses up high, a full count now to Pryor. I'll introduce you to the rest of their defense here in a second. Swing and a miss. Pryor goes down on strikes, 1 down. That'll bring up Jack True. So it's Newberg, Villegas, Melendez, Ripley across the infield. Rosenblum, Balo, Schroeder in the outfield. We got a lot of things to say about Mr. Schroeder. Pringler behind the plate and Varner on the mound. Sessions is their DH.
Here's Jack True, who is coming off a 3-for-4 afternoon against the Richardson Eagles. His bat could not be any hotter. Speaking of which, got to ask you, got a pick to click this evening.
I'm going Charlie Schneider tonight, and I'll tell you why. Left-handed pitcher, and not a lot of wind. What is blowing towards the left field line, and this is a kind of a small ballpark. If Charlie were playing here, he'd have 10 home runs already.
It is a. You said it when I first walked in here. You said this is a little more of a bandbox than we saw the last couple of games.
Varner kicks and delivers, misses inside. 3-1 now to True. So it's 320 down the lines. That sounds like baseball, but it's only 350 to straightaway center, which means that where the scoreboard is in left center is about 335, 340. That's a good 25 feet more shallow than left center field at just about any other ballpark we've been to. True fouls another one over under the school grounds. This is Mustang Ballpark. No special name. I guess I'll have to get it to Coach Rowland. I suggested either the back 40 because we are on the back end of this campus. The 3-2 misses down low, so Varner went full count on the first two batters, got a strikeout on one and walked the other, and that'll bring up Parker Stevens. I also suggested, since they're the Mustangs, they could call this park the what was I can't remember now.
The Stang Yard, maybe?
The Stang Yard.
The Corral?
The Corral, that's what it was. So anyway,
quick
Parker Stevens coming up.
About Parker Stevens, what an afternoon he's coming off of against the Eagles of Richardson. A couple of base hits, 4 RBI.
That's after the 0 for 4 on Tuesday, and his dad said he didn't necessarily feel good about going 0 for 4, so he just drove in 4 runs the next game.
Does anybody feel good about going 0 for 4?
I don't think they do. He had 4. There's a hit. Line drive into left field. True will have to stop at second as the ball comes directly back in front of him.
I can tell you exactly why he doesn't feel good about it. It doesn't happen to him very often.
That is true. Here's Carter Flashnick. Doesn't happen to him very often either. In the game on Saturday prior to the 0 for 4 last Tuesday, Parker was on base 4 times.
And very unusual that he's coming off an 0 for 4 performance. I would expect that will not happen again.
Now Flashnick will look to break the ice on the 0-0 score, top of the first.
Good looking curveball.
Curveball for a strike. Yeah, we've talked a bit about some pitchers this year that we've seen some polish on their game. I think this whole series is going to be polished pitchers. Not going to see any of those funny wind-ups and the leg going one way, the arm going another. Varner worked really quick there, came set and then kicked and delivered, missed outside.
And you could hear the fans all over this ballpark with good fan showing tonight. All wanted that strike. But it's 1-1.
Flashnick fouls it down the third baseline. Judge Ellis on deck, and then Matty Chan if we get that far. 2 on, 1 out, top of the first, 1-2 now to Carter. Swing and a miss. Good pitch, good cut, no contact, 2 down. 2 strikeouts, a walk and a single, and here comes Judge Ellis.
Now batting Scott's first baseman, number 13, Judge Ellis.
Judge coming off a 1 for 2 officially.
And that one was a double off the wall, or was that the game before?
He had a double to left and a fly out. Was also intentionally walked. And then Matthew Horner hit in his place to finish the ball game.
Taps one foul at the plate.
Scott's put a 10 spot on the board. Their most recent game, Saturday, if you tuned in for that broadcast. All systems go in the batting department for the Scots. A lot of green lights.
Varner working quick, and Ellis sends it into right field. Schroeder gathers it for the out. The Scots get a pair on, but don't get anybody around third and get them in, and we go to the bottom of the first, scoreless.
Well, it was very heartwarming to see this, of course, the last regular season home game for the J.J. Pearce Mustangs. They're celebrating their seniors, as they should. very heartwarming to hear the seniors have a little paragraph to each of their parents thanking them for their support. I can tell you in a lifetime of coaching how much sacrifice and time and sweat equity goes into the parent side of these athletes, driving them to games and hours spent working and so forth and so on. It's a labor of love you do for your kids, and great seeing those seniors walk arm in arm with their parents, as the Scots did on their senior celebration.
Yeah, we did hear that a couple of them are going off to play college sports, one baseball, one basketball.
That's right.
So this could be the end of all those years of taking the kids to the ballpark, and which could be around 13, 14, 15 years of taking your kid to the ballpark, and now all of a sudden what are you going to do with your Saturdays?
Well, in some cases you may be watching him at the ballpark at the next level, but no doubt it's a bittersweet moment for a parent seeing their senior play their last regular season game, and I think I could speak for the parent groups of both of these schools. They'd like to see that season extended quite a few weeks.
Yes.
Deep into May. And I think it's very reasonable that both teams have the firepower, if they're playing well, to do so.
That is correct. Both of these teams seem well built for the playoffs, the 2 out of 3, the three-game series. So Caden Varner, the pitcher, will also lead off.
Gotta love the leadoff pitcher combination.
Coach says he's a great athlete. Got a chance to talk to Coach Rowland yesterday. Max Stammel on the mound for the Scots. Pryor's cheating in a little at third, looking for the bunt. First pitch from Stammel is a strike. Crowd didn't like it. There's a lot of that going around. Stammel will deliver, swing and a miss on that one. Quickly now 0-2.
Well, there's an energy to this crowd that's uncommon.
That one's up and away. Coach Rowland says that Varner is a really good competitor. He was also a wide receiver on the football team. He takes a wild cut at one way outside. Stevens didn't make the clean catch. Chases it down at the backstop and delivers the throw to first.
Yeah, that was not a good cut by Varner, who kind of at the last minute decided he would defensively swing and really had no chance of making contact with that. And here comes one of the big bats for the Mustangs, Garrett Schroeder.
Yes, the Texas Tech commit, folks. That means this guy's a ball player. Not only has he's signed. He hasn't committed. He has signed. He will be going to Texas Tech next year. Stammel misses up high with a fastball. He's had a bit of an ankle injury. You see him wearing a brace on his left ankle. He's just now getting up to full speed and being able to play defense. Stammel missed outside. He's also their closer. Big arm. Pretty big looking kid too.
Big arm. Probably not a guy you want to challenge a whole lot at right field.
Fouls that one at the plate and goes back behind him.
A returning second-team All-District player last year.
Stammel has committed to Richmond to be a Spider. There's a breaking ball for a strike.
And that's that classic Max Stammel to a right-hander. That backdoor breaking ball is his bread and butter.
Swing and foul back on the 2-2. So Schroeder's got 4 home runs on the year and is hitting .430 something. I saw that in the stats in the Dallas Morning News today. Checks his swing. Umpire wanted to say, no, I guess he's telling Schroeder that he did not swing, so he now has a full count. Stammel working quick. breaking ball, another half-hearted swing, defensively swinging, as you like to say, and that's 2 up, 2 down, a pair of strikeouts. Here comes Dean Balo. This is he's an interesting kid. 6'3", 180, going to Trinity University to play basketball.
Yeah, talk about an athlete. Big, tall kid, big strike zone. And to give you a sense of what kind of baseball player he is, if Garrett Schroeder is a Power 5 Division I signee at Texas Tech, well, Garrett Schroeder was a second-team All-District player. Dean Balo was first-team All-District. Now he's choosing to play another sport, basketball, at the next level, but gives you the kind of sense of just what this guy can do both on the basketball court and on the diamond.
Fouls that one into the crowd. Slightly closed stance, almost on top of home plate. Toes on his left foot on the line, right next to home plate. Back foot just a little offset, just inside the box to the back. Stammel, another breaking ball, fouled off over onto the girls' softball field. Not a game going on over there, so nobody's in danger of getting hit.
Army of youth attacking every foul ball with a emotional fervor that I love to see.
Some of these are brothers and sisters of the players, since it was senior night. They all came out. 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts for Stammel in the first inning. What do we say about pitching coming into this?
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of
some
fantastic
pitching.
And Max Stammel, he seldom disappoints. The last time we saw him, 4 1/3 innings pitched, all he did was allow 1 run and 6 strikeouts. But
an unearned run at that.
But he has been dominant in every outing we've seen him pitch. He's a regular 5-6 innings, scattering maybe 1-2 hits, typically striking out somewhere close to the neighborhood of 2 batters per inning, which is crazy. And, of course, the icing on the cake would be the 21 up, 21 down perfect game with 17 strikeouts that you and I both had the privilege of watching. The young man is special.
Still the most amazing pitching performance I've ever gotten to see. What do you think? So.
And I believe he was recognized in the Dallas Morning News this morning, 4-1 record with a, get this, 0.18 ERA. That would qualify as microscopic, would it not?
Yes. There's one guy ahead of him in ERA. He has a 0 ERA, but he has a record of 1-3.
That's
that means they don't play defense behind him. Matty Chan will lead things off here in the second for the Scots.
That's a tough luck.
Varner, good-looking curveball.
Yeah, I like Varner's big overhand breaking ball. A lot of bite to it. Going to keep the Scots hitters off balance.
Tries it again, misses inside, 1-1. Chan waits on it and swings through it. 3 curveballs to start him off here.
Matty has typically been sharing his spot in the lineup with a number of other guys, but wow, has he been productive.
Gets that one off the fist over to Newberg, who charges and delivers the strike to first. 1 down. That'll bring up Charlie Schneider.
Number 8, shortstop.
Charlie coming off of a 2-for-2 afternoon against Richardson. As a run scored and an RBI.
I think had a single and a double. And had a double in the previous game. This park is built for Charlie. It's about 340 in the gap, 350 to center, 320 down the line. And the wind's blowing slightly in that direction. He took a cut at that one as if he wanted to see how far that or how close that fence is. It's not that far away compared to other baseball parks. It is higher, though. Varner bounces one in. 2-2 now. Or is it 2-1?
They've got it at 2-1.
Takes another one down low.
I think it goes without saying that whichever team is able to get deep into counts and fatigue the opponent's starter gives themselves a chance.
And there's a walk. That's the second walk in as many innings that Varner has allowed. Second batter each inning. That'll bring up Adam Rourke, the speedy center fielder. We'll see if they're going to, knowing it's going to be a pitcher's duel, let's see if they're going to play a little small ball. First pitch to the hitter is a ball down.
It was great to see Adam back in the lineup on Saturday and opening up with a base hit.
Oh, that's going to be a balk. I don't know how he brought it out of his glove, if he hit his leg or what, but I've done that in bowling before, where on my I might ask my backswing, the ball comes out of my hand. So
I think it's a clear application of the tuck rule.
There's one fouled back.
Oh, wow. That just missed a couple of small kids and an SUV.
Wasn't a white car, I hope.
Yeah, I originally parked almost right back there, and I thought, this might be a little close. So I moved. I got a couple of cars helping to block my car.
We have seen higher backstop nettings.
Ground ball, foul past third. So ball and 2 strikes now to Rourke with the runner on second. I guess that takes away the potential of a bunt, especially with 2 strikes. That misses up high. Varner comes close to quick pitching, not necessarily just getting the ball and pitching, but coming set. Watch, he'll see if he does it this time. Set. Now that time he checked his runner and delivered a beautiful curveball that Rourke looks at, and he knew it was strike 3. 2 down now. 3rd strikeout of the day for Varner, and that'll bring up Bryce Lachkowski.
You can tell right away when he needs it. He goes to that big overhand breaking curveball, which has a good 12 to 14 inches of vertical bite to it, and starts up at the letters and really freezes you.
Misses outside with a fastball. Not a big kid, but sneaky fast. Maybe a little faster than other guys his size. And with that breaking ball, that just makes that fastball that much faster. Misses up high with that one. Where Stammel's in the upper 80s, this guy's in the upper 70s and low 80s. But it's that second and third pitch that makes him
location, movement, change of speeds, lots of ways to get guys out.
Yeah, that looked actually like a changeup there. 3 balls and no strikes to Bryce. Jake Pryor, the leadoff hitter, back on deck. And there's a strike. And Lachkowski draws the second walk of the inning, 3rd of the day. Runners now on first and second for Pryor. And Coach Yoder is going to come talk to one of his team captains here. Oh, getting a little entertainment from the parking lot. How about that? So,
well, the best entertainment is right here in this ballpark because we got a lot of great baseball players, and it's going to be a dogfight.
remember the umbrella that looked like a baseball? There's a guy with a jacket down here that looks like a baseball. That is a cool looking jacket. So Pryor,
I know what to get you for Christmas, Rob.
Takes a pitch for a strike. Cookie's going to get us a shot of that jacket. Not a great look at it, but it's got the stitches that come up the sides over the shoulders and on the hood as well. The 0-1 to Pryor. He takes it at his toes and it bounces around. Pringler's able to gather it with no runner advancing. 2 on, 2 out. Had this situation in the first inning, got a fly out to end the inning. Scott's already one time through the order. Grounder to Villegas. He goes the short way to Melendez, and they retire the side. Again, the Scots threaten, but nothing doing. And we go to the bottom of the second, still scoreless. Max Stammel coming out with his 0.18 ERA. Also saw that Sam Webster, 7-1 with a 0.96 ERA. So
yeah, what a 1-2 punch the Scots have. Not that their pitching staff is limited to just 2,
no,
but what a 1-2 punch those 2 young men have been for the Scots. And I would imagine, and hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I would imagine Sam will be the Friday night starter, and we will see him against A.J. Ripley, last year's district pitcher of the year, and in a what would be an incredible duel of elite pitching. So, again, incredible pitching in this series.
Going to be a fun time on Friday. Still got to get through 5.5 more innings of this one.
Now Stammel will face Levi Rosenblum, the left fielder, Cole Pringler, the catcher, and the aforementioned A.J. Ripley at first base.
There's something you don't see. Coach Roland has a uniform with a number on it. Full uniform. Oh, and don't adjust your TV sets. Those uniforms are not white. Those uniforms are cream colored. Also, the first base coach has a number on his uniform as well. He's number 99. You just don't see the coaches wearing the uniforms with the numbers on them. They usually wear like a sweatshirt or a batting shirt. Heads up. So,
well, in many respects, I'm grateful that baseball is one of the few sports where the coaches wear the uniform. Maybe the only sport I can think of where the coaches wear the uniform. I don't know that I want to see a lot of European soccer managers wearing the kit, the team kit.
No,
I didn't want to see Bill Parcells in shoulder pads and tight pants. So I think I think we're good.
Yeah. So first pitch from Max is up high.
Left field for the Scots. Jack Wall now playing left.
As my hesitation a few moments ago, swing and a miss for a strike, was that the umpire was talking with the coach and they were pulling out a lineup card. So I thought, oh, there must be a defensive change, and the only defensive change I could see was Matty Chan has a seat and Jack Wall is now left. So it's been a swinging gate of Wall and Chan out there this year. Tapper back to the mound. Stammel is able to corral it and get it over to Ellis, and there's one down.
Well, first ball that the Mustangs have been able to put in play this evening is a rocket launcher to the pitcher.
That'll bring up A.J. Pringler.
For the Mustangs, catcher Cole Pringler.
Cole Pringler. Where did I get AJ from? I guess I must know.
AJ is next. He's on deck.
He's on deck. So Cole Pringler did not start the year as a catcher, but during their preseason tournaments, kind of grabbed the position and has been their catcher through the district season.
Very similar story to the young man catching at Jesuit that we had the opportunity to talk to his father. Kind of just jumped in, grabbed the position, and one of the things you love about high school sports, right? Somebody steps up to the occasion and wins a spot.
Good-looking breaking ball there from Stammel for a strike. Tries it again, gets Pringler to swing through it.
Yeah, a lot of really uneasy swings for the Mustangs. They're just not accustomed to seeing that big left-handed backdoor breaking ball that Max Stammel brings.
Tries the fastball with 2 strikes, and Pringler hits it into the dirt and fouls it off his foot.
And Rob, you were telling me before the broadcast started something about this J.J. Pearce team in terms of their hitting prowess.
Yes, they just finished off a 2-game series against Irving, and as a team, they struck out twice in 2 games. Stammel's already got 3 tonight, but as a team, just 2 strikeouts in 2 baseball games. Swing another foul tap.
They're going to get the bat on the ball. They're going to get deep into counts. They're not going to chase a lot of silly stuff. I think a very disciplined baseball team.
The 2-2 breaking ball inside. Started that one a little more inside. Did not get the funny swing through it like he did a couple of times in the first. So now it's a full count. And that's going to miss down low. There's ball 4. That's the first walk of the night issued by Stammel, first base runner of the night for the Mustangs.
Your attention, ladies and gentlemen, now entering the game is a courtesy runner for the catcher at first base. Number 3, Sam Kinder.
Kinder will go over and run for the catcher at first. Ripley, the big first baseman, all-district pitcher, just a junior, throws left, bats right. Same thing with Caden Varner, throws left and bats right.
And now I would expect at some point in time Kinder to attempt to steal a second here.
See how close Stammel's able to keep him. Check the swing and ball misses down.
Well, you know that hits are going to be hard to come by. Runs are going to be hard to come by. You're probably going to have to scratch them out, playing some small ball. You got a guy throwing a lot of breaking stuff effectively, and you got your designated runner on first. Everything sort of adds up.
That one misses down. Stevens able to go behind the batter and pick it up, keeping the runner at first. 2 balls and no strikes. Decent lead. Got his foot just beyond the cutout. Stammel delivers. Ground ball back through the box. If the ball gets there in a hurry, it could be 2. And Schneider, nice play, Charlie Schneider. He scoops it, has the body length to step on the bag, and enough arm to fling it to first, underhanded, just in time to get Ripley. A 6-3 double play. Nice play from Schneider.
Stand by for trivia.
I make him out as a guy very similar to a major league shortstop. His body language, the way he carries himself, is very similar to the currently injured Corey Seager of our local town Texas Rangers.
That play was deceptively difficult because that ball was not rolling very quickly, and you've got to very quickly do the math in your head whether or not you can get the force out yourself at second or whether you just need to go to first with it. And if you hesitate and you try to get the out at second, but the runner beats you, then you're going to be late to first and you're not going to get anything. And now you've got the Mustangs with 2 men on and 1 man out and the potential of a big inning. So some significant risk involved, and he did the calculus in his head, got the force, and still was able to fire it over to first base to get the double play. So really nice job of quick calculations by the Scots shortstop.
Not only that, but Bryce Latchkowski was also there to try to do the same thing. Just Charlie had the a little bit of an angle on the ball, reached out, got it with his foot on the bag, and then was able to deliver the throw. So going to the third now in a scoreless ball game. Jack True, who was a recipient of a full count walk his first time up, was left stranded on second as the inning ended. There's that big curveball from Varner.
Jack True, who better wear 2 batting gloves because that bat is very, very hot to the touch.
2-0 now to Jack. Ball slammed into the ground and rolled out towards second. Nice play from Melendez, hustling, and did a bit of a scoop to first to get the out.
Nice play by second baseman Dave Melendez.
That'll bring up Parker Stevens, who owns the only base hit of the game so far.
Number 6, catcher Parker Stevens.
Wind's picked up a little bit. The flag is really blowing towards the left field line now. Stevens takes that curveball for a strike. I don't know. He's throwing so many curveballs, you might go up there looking for the curveball. And then misses outside with the fastball.
Both pitchers doing a really nice job of mixing things up. But I think when it comes down to brass tacks, both guys are going to use the breaking ball as their out pitch.
Varner takes his time, then comes out of his windup, bring the ball just barely fair. Nice play from Newberg to get the throw off, but not in time. Stevens is 2 for 2. Nice job from Newberg. Lost control of his body down on the ground and not able to get any footing to deliver a throw, but got it all the way across the infield.
He did.
Almost in time.
We've talked a lot about the pitching, deservedly so, but the defense in this series, I think, is also going to be top notch. And you saw some great defense there. But about Parker Stevens, who runs extremely well. That's not something that you always see in catchers because of how the beating that their legs take in that full squat for so many innings. But Parker beating that out for a base hit. And now, of course, you'll see the Scots designated runner out there.
A 1-0 count to Flashnick, and he fouls that one to the screen.
And
Connor Cornell is running now at first.
And especially knowing the Scots' personality, their affinity for playing small ball, their cultural aggressiveness on the bases, Coach Yoder's personality, this team's personality, and this particular game, I would expect an attempted steal coming up here soon. All signs point to that.
2 balls and a strike. Could play a little hit and run even.
That counts.
Cornell's not got that much of a lead. Of course, Varner's a left-hander looking right at him. Flashnick tries the third baseline again, and it goes foul.
That's about 4 inches from scoring a run.
2-2 now to Carter.
This is my pick to click right here.
That's up and away. A full count now. Yeah, if he had a bunch of at-bats in this ballpark, he'd have a bunch of home runs too. Another throw over to first. Cornell easily back.
I see one being put in the parking lot over left field, maybe by the American flag out there.
And he takes ball 4. Third inning in a row that the Scots have had 2 runners on, unable to do anything with it the first 2 times. Let's see if they can cash in now. Judge Ellis, who flied to right to end the first inning, coming up.
First baseman, Judge Ellis.
Any chance you'd have Judge Ellis bunt sometime this at bat?
Well, there's a ground ball, could be 2. To second to one, Melendez gets it over. Each team has turned a double play through 3.5 innings. An inning-ending double play at that. So we've gone 3 1/3. We're still scoreless. The Scots have the only 2 hits of the ball game. Varner has 4 walks and 2 hits allowed. He's put 2 base runners on each inning, but has gotten out of it each inning.
Max Stammel with 3 strikeouts and a walk.
Has faced the minimum, and he'll see the bottom third of the order. Sessions, the designated hitter, Newberg, the third baseman, and Villegas, the shortstop.
So I believe we just got a report that Max Stammel has touched into the 90s. Is that correct,
That
Rob?
is correct. In the first inning on a rather blustery day, Winnie the Pooh would be proud of. The game was originally a 7:30 start. Potential of rain in the area, and with the magnitude of the ball game, it was moved up to 6 o'clock to try to beat any potential rain. And let's hope that they do.
We appreciate them very much.
So Sessions will lead things off against Stammel.
And he looks like he may go somewhere on a basketball scholarship also. Great big tall left-hander.
He's their designated hitter. 6'5", 215-pound junior. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Future Richmond Spider kicks and delivers. This time hits Sessions, and that's the leadoff batter reaching base. That'll bring up Newberg, the third baseman. Made a couple of nice plays. Now, bottom of the order, man on. Everybody knows you're going to play small ball in a tight ball game. Jake Pryor is in, looking for the bunt. Middle infield wants the double play.
We'll see how well the 6'5" junior runs.
There was a bunt attempt. He looked more like he was bunting for a hit than trying to lay one down to move the runner. His feet were moving as he made contact. See what he does this time. Again, shows bunt, pulls it back, or no, he had to have fouled it because nobody's running. I think he fouled it off of Parker Stevens. Stevens is going to take a little extra time to let that bruise grow and the pain subside a little bit. 0-2 now to Newberg.
The respect I have for catchers Those guys, their bodies take a beating night in and night out, and they're involved in every single decision and sequence on the field. And Parker Stevens is about as good as they come.
Been fun to watch him play this year.
And they wear a few bruises, don't they?
They do. So the 0-2 now to Newberg. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So now 1-on-1 out for Vince Vance Villegas. I know Vince Vance, the actual Vince Vance. Or at least I knew him a long, long time ago. I got to introduce him one night. I think it was the Cheyenne Social Club in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Rob, you are full of interesting anecdotes.
Only because I've lived a very long time.
He's going to
shows bunt
all the
pulls
way.
It back, lines it just over the head of Schneider into center field. It'll be a hit. Rourke misplays it, but not very badly, and is able to get it back into the infield.
Okay, that took everybody by surprise, including Tyler Sessions, Vince's teammate at first, who was, I think, also expecting bunt.
And now we go back to the top of the order. The opposing pitcher, Caden Varner. So now Stammel's in a bit of a pickle. One out and 2 on. Swing and a miss at the breaking ball. Looked like he took an extra step in that swing. Swung right through it. Stammel would love another ground ball on the infield. Varner struck out his first time. Steps away from the pitch at his back foot there.
Nice piece of catching by Parker Stevens there, ranging deep to his left to keep that from going to the backstop and seeing the runners advance. We do have a similar backstop situation to what we had in Richardson.
Breaking ball for a strike. Yeah, the brick wall is only about 3 feet high. There's no pad on it. So a ball that hits the bricks is going to ricochet quickly in whatever direction it needs to go.
So if it goes straight back, it's going to come straight back to home. But for example, on that last one, it would have kicked off to the third base side.
Ground ball towards the hole. Latchkowski is able to knock it down but cannot pick it up and make a throw. It'll be an infield hit for Varner, and the bases are loaded with only 1 out.
Well, a bit of bad luck for the Scots. Stammel got his double play ball, so to speak, but just hit a little too far to Latch's left. He did a great job knocking that down and preventing any runs from scoring, so the Scots can still get out of this unscathed. Infield will now play for the double play.
And the guy they definitely did not want to see up with runners on base, Schroeder, has them jacked with only 1 out. Swings through a curveball for strike 1.
Well, you can just sense the electricity in this crowd, too, hanging on every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
All right, now you got 0-2. You've struck him out before. You see a breaking ball here starting way outside, seeing if it can maybe just catch the outside of that black.
Stevens is set up out that way. Comes in with a fastball, misses inside, fouled off the umpire, I believe, and off the backstop. Now Parker and Max are going to talk it over. They'll get another baseball with a little different seam on it, I guess. Joellen Thomas Roberts is running at first. Another pretty big fella, 6'4", 235. Another junior. They've got a basketball team playing on baseball here. Sessions is 6'5", Thomas is 6'4". Got a Braden Stout who's 6'3". Balo is 6'3". I guess they need a postman.
Yeah.
So 0-2 with 1 out.
I see a lot of good 5-out offenses these days.
There's the breaking ball, stayed up high. That's the one you want to start at the belt and get it breaking down just above the knees.
You like that, though. He's not going to mess around with something in the strike zone up 0-2. He's going to see if Schroeder will chase something, which he showed the discipline not to.
Another breaking ball in the air, shallow center field, might be able to score a run. Rourke has a good arm, gets it off, will not get it on line, and that'll be 1-0 in favor of the Mustangs here in the bottom of the third. I didn't really think that was going to be deep enough to score the run.
Well, that ball was delivered with enough velocity to make a play at the plate, but just tailing up the third base line. And we've seen one of the great truisms of baseball. We talked about walking the leadoff hitter 70% of the time, comes back to score. I think the same thing could be said by hit by a pitch. And we see the hit by pitch leadoff hitter coming back to score, and now Max Stamel will have to try to mitigate damages here with the runners on the corners.
I think that's only the second earned run allowed by Max this year. 2 on, 2 out, runners on the corners. Curveball to Balo for a strike. Line drive into right. True coming on. Nice catch. Nice catch. A run-saving, diving, inning-ending, diving catch.
Okay, that saved 2 runs because I thought that was getting down. It was tailing away from True, and full layout extension, and just picks that up off the carpet before the ball touches the ground, and keeps the damage to 1 run. We've talked about the quality of pitching, but the defense in this game, very high level stuff.
Would expect nothing less from 2 teams that are 12-2 in this district.
Are we ready, Miss Trivia?
All right, let's see if we can answer their trivia question.
I think this one's actually a pretty easy one.
Oh, he's going to throw an easy one out.
It's records night. All my questions are about records. Who holds the career record in Major League Baseball history for the highest slugging percentage? Highest slugging percentage in Major League Baseball.
Highest slugging percentage in Major League Baseball history. I think
does he mean career, or like in a season, or what's he?
I don't know. He did not specify. It's either Babe Ruth or Ted Williams. I think.
Babe Ruth was the first name that came to mind, just because of
the thousands of home
the number 714. But anything involving hitting prowess and statistics, Ted Williams certainly should be up there.
Swing and a miss from Jack Wall on Caden Varner's first pitch of the top of the 4th.
He certainly hit for a higher average than Babe.
Well, Babe had hit 393 one year. Wall takes again with the next one. But I think, overall, I think Williams did have a higher batting average. And the last guy to hit 400 in the majors. Ruth hit 393 one year. So the 1-2 to Wall bounces, and you can see it come straight back to the catcher off the wall.
I heard a great, really hard trivia question this morning. It was in the context of Aaron Rodgers being traded from Green Bay to. We see Jack Wall striking out. In the context of him being traded to the Jets, can you think of any player that won the NFL MVP in his first year with his team?
In his first year with his team?
Yes.
There's a well-struck ball off the bat of Schneider. I think it bounced, and that'll be a hit. So Schneider has a walk and now a hit, and the potential tying run is on. Here comes Adam Rourke. Struck out looking at a curveball his first time. Okay, won the MVP in his first year with his team.
Yes.
So probably somebody who got traded.
Would either have to be someone that was traded or picked up via free agency, or somebody that was a rookie. Those are the only options.
In the NFL.
In the NFL.
Because Fred Lynn and Ichiro are the two Rookie of the Year MVPs, I believe.
That's a good trivia question. What did Fred Lynn win at, like mid-70s?
Yeah, 75, I think.
He was a great ball player. That was the year the Red Sox went to the World Series.
Yep.
Lost in 7 to the Reds.
Carlton Fisk begged the ball to hit the foul pole. Bernie Carbo fouled off a ball, and he couldn't hit, and hit the next ball for a game-tying home run. Yeah, I don't remember that series at all.
Well, that series has been replayed many, many times.
NFL MVP and Rourke goes down swinging.
They say, and I certainly would love your perspective on this, Rob. They say that was the World Series that probably did more for baseball than any other World Series. Is that true?
I was a teenager, and that was there's a throw to first. That's all we talked about at school. It was, front page of the newspaper, and first thing you hear about on the TV news. I think, it did a lot for baseball. But that was also baseball's heyday. I mean, that's
yes.
The 70s. Baseball was America's sport. Every kid that I went to school with in Long Beach played baseball. Everybody played baseball. Oh, Bryce looks at a curveball.
Well, I think the reason why people ascribe to that so much to that World Series is because you're right. It was the heyday of baseball. It was also on national TV, and there were a lot of night games.
Oh, and Laskowski goes down swinging. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Varner. Also gave up the hit to Schneider, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Mustangs. Just like we thought. Pitcher's duel. Okay, NFL MVP. For some reason, I cannot come up with the answer to your question.
It's tough. It's really tough. I didn't get it. I'll be the first to tell you. I didn't get it. I hazarded a guess, and I was wrong.
I'm trying to think. Babe Ruth was the answer to that question. 690 slugging percentage for his career.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, best in baseball.
Yeah, so I think he might have some potential as a ball player.
He might.
So do you want a hint or do you want just the answer?
Give me a hint.
He played. He won this award in the 60s. He played in the 60s and the 70s. I don't know if he played in the 50s or not, but he played in the 60s and 70s.
Okay, the 60s is just about the time they started the Super Bowl era. Let me say, is it a quarterback?
Correct. It is a quarterback.
Did he play for the Cleveland Browns?
He did not play for the Cleveland Browns.
Then I do not have the answer then.
You could ask a few more yes/no questions. We could play like 20 questions.
Let's see.
Or I can just blow up the suspense and tell you.
Blow up the suspense.
Earl Morrall.
Earl Morrall, Baltimore Colts.
Baltimore Colts, who was in his first year, and he led them to the Super Bowl. It would have been Super Bowl III, where they subsequently lost to the Jets.
Johnny Unitas got hurt that year. Morrall came in. I don't remember exactly how he ended up going to Baltimore to play, but yeah, his first year on that team, wasn't expected to play a lot, ended up carrying the team. And
well, I was born that year, so I don't have a whole lot of recollection. But from what I've seen and read, that he was brought into the ball club, and Unitas got hurt, and he had an incredible season, and led them to the Super Bowl. And then they ran into a very good Jets team, which of course made football history.
Headlines that year.
Made football history, being the first AFL team to defeat their NFL counterpart in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Broadway Joe said they were going to win, and everybody laughed at him. Stevens wearing another bruise after that foul ball of Rosenblum. There's a fastball up and away. Full count again. Max has a full count on Rosenblum, who grounded out to Max his first time up. Curveball, strike 3.
What's so interesting is Parker was already in his delivery of the ball to third base before the umpire had signaled strike. And I think we're going to have a little conversation about that.
Coach Rowland is giving the umpire a little bit of an earful.
Now maybe he had verbally signified that it was a strike before he got into his full umpire pose punch out, which is understandable. And then Parker got the verbal cue to throw it to third, but obviously from where we're sitting, we couldn't hear anything, and it looked like Parker called strike 3 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is something that if I were the opposing manager, I would not want the other team's catcher making ball strike calls.
Now, what you're seeing right there is something you're not. I know from being taught how to be an umpire, the umpire does not talk back to the coach. You can say two-word sentences. Sit down, or you're gone.
Well, you can just tell from body language when the umpire, and I do think good officiating means having lines of communication open to coaches, even if you agree to disagree. That's okay. But when the umpire walks away, he's telling you that's the end of the conversation, and so then you better tread with care.
And the first pitch to Pringler is a called strike. Pringler walked his first time up and was part of a double play. There's a way up and away. You can hear the umpire getting very verbal now on his calls.
The intensity of this series, it's manifest in the players, to be sure. It's manifest in the stands and the fans, the student section, the parents section. But you can also see it in the coaching. And in the umpiring. I mean, everybody understands that these games are significant.
And there's strike 3 again. That one looked like it sliced the plate directly in half. Back-to-back looking strike 3s. That'll bring up Mr. Ripley, tonight's first baseman, Friday night's starting pitcher. He hits it high, and 3 Scots converge, and Stammel takes it himself. And we go to the 5th inning in a 1-0 ball game. Stammel did what we've talked about a lot this year. You don't let the pitchers catch that, but Stammel got to it before everybody else called him off and made the play. Pitchers are athletes too.
Well,
Not all of them, but yes, pitchers are athletes too.
They certainly are, and especially in this series. I think if you've got a good beat on that ball, you certainly have the shortest distance to it, and you don't have to flip off your mask or get out of a squat. So perfectly okay for Max to take that ball.
Who holds the highest career fielding percentage for a shortstop?
Highest career fielding percentage for a shortstop. All right, the first name that comes to mind to me would be Ozzie.
Yeah, he's the first one that comes to mind. I remember Eddie Brinkman once had an 88-game consecutive errorless streak while playing for the Senators.
You got me, because I don't even know that name.
A guy named Dow Maxville used to be a really good fielder for the Cardinals. Mark Belanger was a really excellent defensive fielder for the Orioles. Shortstop. Let's see. Maury Wills was pretty good, but he played second base.
Would Cal enter the conversation?
I don't know. He played all those games. I don't know if he was that spectacular as far as fielding percentage. I think we just go with.
Ozzie was so dynamic and flashy. He got to balls that probably Cal wouldn't get to.
Definitely.
But Cal didn't make a whole lot of mistakes on balls that were hit to him. I'd have them both on my team.
Yeah, find a place for both of them. Jake Pryor leading off the 5th, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk. 1-0 ball game into the 5th.
I like the trivia questions between innings. Kind of keeps everybody sharp and on their A game.
There's that curveball for a strike. I'll bring us a few for Friday then, just to keep things going. We can get that one's no
awesome.
Foul.
Just please, none of these ones where the answer is some obscure guy that played for the Washington Senators.
But that's true trivia.
Yeah, but that's too hard. You got to dumb it down.
Okay, I'll make it the last 30 years or so. Ground ball going to go foul. Yeah, we'll have Lee and either Tyson or the big guy's his name Jeremy. Check swing, and they're going to say he went, and that'll be strike 3, 1 down. 4 strikeouts for the last 4 outs for Caden Varner.
7. I've got him for 7 so far on the evening.
Jack True has a walk and a ground out in his 2 trips. Swings through an off-speed pitch.
Go, Jack.
Yeah, Ozzie's in the Hall of Fame for a good reason. You know, exciting shortstop to watch. That one bounces in. You know, you can hit those when they bounce.
You can, for sure.
I don't advise doing it because it's hard to practice. That one is tapped right back to Varner, who rushes it over to give it to Ripley for the out. 2 down. That'll bring up 2 for 2 Parker Stevens. A hit over third and short and a hit at third that Newberg made a heck of a play on, just couldn't get the throw across the infield in time. And Stevens is 2 for 2 as he steps into the batter's box.
Yeah, Parker and Charlie Schneider are the only 2 Scots that seem to have figured out the riddle that is Caden Varner tonight. That was a bit of a defensive swing by Jack True, probably one he was intending to foul off.
There's a ball in the air, shallow right center field. Schroeder actually moves back a little bit to make that catch. Didn't look like it left the bat all that well, but seemed to carry a little bit. And that was a quick inning for Varner in the top of the fifth. And that is the first 1-2-3 inning. You didn't want to get him into a rhythm. That's his first 1-2-3 inning, and now Max Stammel will have to come out. He had a 1-2-3 inning last inning as well as one in the first.
Yeah, with two strikeouts looking.
6 strikeouts through 4 innings for Max.
The winner yet there, Miss Trivia. Can we repeat the question? Who holds the highest career fielding percentage for a shortstop? He isn't a guy that gets a lot of name recognition, but he was the highest, best fielding shortstop.
The best fielding shortstop.
What's his name? You can do this. Think about the great ones. This guy was a great one.
Well, it wasn't Gary Templeton. Templeton was one of those guys who could get to a lot of balls, but he misplayed a lot of balls. This guy was a great one. Was it Derek Jeter? Is it? Are we overlooking something obvious?
I'm gonna stick to Ozzie. Although what he said was, this is not a guy that gets a lot of name recognition. To me, Ozzie is a name recognition guy. He's one of the few guys that you don't need to say his last name. You just say Ozzie, and everybody knows who you're talking about, unless you're into like death metal music or something like that. But yeah, I'll stick with him. I can tell you that, and I don't know that he would qualify because I think of him as more of a slugger than a fielder, but one of my favorite all-time shortstops, the great Robin Yount.
Oh, yeah. He was so good at shortstop, they moved him to center field. And he was an all-star out there, too.
You know, interesting thing about him, he broke into the major leagues at 17.
Oh, yeah.
17. What were you doing at 17?
Trying to make a high school team.
I was in high school. You know, he's hitting major league pitching and doing it well. And I think he was a rookie of the year type of guy.
Yeah, I think his original time up, he didn't last longer as the very end of the year, but then the next year he was penciled into the lineup every day. So here we go. Bottom half of the fifth, Sessions has scored the only run of the game, got stung on the back by a Stammel pitch a couple innings ago. And came around to score the only run of the game on a sacrifice fly from Balo. And it's a ball and a strike now from Max.
Look where Bryce Leskowski is playing.
He's 8 feet, 8 steps deep in right field. Swing and a miss from the kid that we're sure has to have some basketball in his past and future. That's outside 2-2. Speaking of basketball and speaking of Pearce Drew Timmy of Gonzaga, this is where he went to high school.
J.J. Pearce.
And Balo is the all-time leading three-point shooter in both number and percentage. And Sessions goes down swinging.
That's 3 out of the last 4 retired on strikeouts by Max.
That'll bring up Newberg, also a strikeout victim his first time. He tried to put down a couple of bunts, got himself in an 0-2 hole, ended up striking out in the inning in which the only run scored. Stammel misses down low. That looked like it went right through Stevens' glove. Looked like he caught it, and it went right through. But the umpire retrieves it because they only had to go about 8 feet and then turn around and go back. So the 2-0 from Max. Breaking ball for a strike. Good crowd out here tonight. Expect the same on Friday night at Scotland Yard.
Mm-hmm.
People standing over by the dugout. I guess that's the student section. Stands are full. Just a couple of spots left. Ball is hit well down the left field line, but I can tell by the reaction of the crowd it went foul because they quit cheering and sat back down. That's the, if you looked down that way, that is the press box.
Yeah.
Coach Rowland told me it's a weird setup that their press box is up above their third base dugout.
For a second, I just thought it was.
There it is. You can see Cookie getting the shot for us.
I thought it was just a deer stand.
Ground ball towards first. Ellis eats it up, and that'll be quickly 2 down. And that brings up Vance Villegas, who tricked everybody, faked a bunt, pulled it back, swung and drilled a line drive into center field just over Charlie Schneider, a couple of hops in front of Adam Rourke. That was the middle of the run-scoring inning 2 innings ago. Stamel working quick, 1-1 now to Villegas. Villegas almost on top of home plate. See his toes just about to touch the line. His left elbow might be over home plate. Takes a curveball for a strike. 1-2 now. There's a ball heading back towards your car, Cookie. Actually, that came a lot closer to mine.
That black SUV has been playing with fire this entire game.
Yes. Drop in there again.
And there's a weakly struck line drive to Charlie Schneider to end the inning. We have played 5. It is a pitcher's duel. It is 1-0 Mustangs. Mustangs have managed 2 hits, bunched them together in the same inning in which they scored. They had 2 hits, a hit batter, and a sacrifice fly. Other than that inning, they only have 1 other base runner, and he was erased on a double play.
And as Varner comes out for the 6th and gets warmed up, he will have to face the heart of the Scouts order, Flashneck, Ellis, and either Matty Chan or Jack Wall, depending on who Coach Yoder goes with in the 6th spot.
So they just answered the question. It was a guy who played part of a season here in Texas, probably spent most of his career in Cleveland, Omar Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel. Yeah,
I would not have thought he would have been the all-time leader in fielding percentage.
Cookie's shaking his head too. I think they stumped us.
So Hayward's pick to click is going to lead it off. He's hit a pair of very good-looking ground balls that went foul down the third baseline. If he gets one a little bit more out over the plate and hits it 380 feet like that line drive he hit in Irving at MacArthur, he takes that one for a strike. This ballpark, I don't think it's 380 feet anywhere that the ballpark is. Now the fence is, 12 to 15 feet high, except for straightaway right field into the line.
380 feet is in the parking lot.
Yes. He's probably going to hit that little truck back over there if it's... And that's going to go onto the girls' softball field. Plenty of little fellas and little girls to chase that one down.
Yeah, I figured out the system for that. When they return the baseball, they get tickets from the table.
Oh, okay. I guess the tickets are good for something.
So the tickets must be good for something.
Bubble gum, popcorn.
Yeah, maybe something from the concession stand or what have you. And so that's a good system. That's just good basic incentivizing economics.
Here's Ellis. He's got a fly out and a hit into a double play. Varner caught the corner with that one. Varner works quick. He's been in command. Has walked a few. Swing and a miss from Ellis on that one. Doesn't appear to be overpowering, but he's throwing hard enough to make his breaking ball look better, and his breaking ball is so good it makes his fastball better as Ellis swings through one, probably out of the zone for strike 3, and that'll bring up Matty Chan.
I think his fastball actually has a little more movement on it now than it did when he started the game. And that one, cutting away from the right-handed hitting Ellis. Varner does a great job of changing speeds, and he is locating his fastball to perfection right now.
They announced Jack Wall, but it's Matty Chan actually in the batter's box. Chan was a ground out, Wall was a strikeout, and it's 0-2 now to Matty. That one's up and away.
Varner works from the far third base side of the rubber. Compare that to Stammel, who works more from the first base side.
Chan a little late on that swing. An awkward foul ball back off the screen.
Come on!
Takes something off of that one, and Matty makes a little bit of contact, just enough to keep it alive. One and two with 2 outs. Chan looking to get something started. Schneider on deck. He swings through it, and Pringler will have to finish it off with the throw to first. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Varner. Good inning. That's his second consecutive 3 up, 3 down inning. The inning before that, he had 3 strikeouts and gave up a hit. So
that's 10 strikeouts in 6 innings for him.
Varner has found his groove.
And he's working fast and working confidently and has the Scots tied up in all kind of knots right now. Now,
and he'll lead off.
Did you happen to notice the score of the JV game when we came in here?
Yes, I did.
It look familiar?
It looked very familiar. The hits were a little different, but the score flip-flopped. It was 1-0 in favor of the Scots on the JV game. The Scots had 2 hits, and the Mustangs had 1 in that game.
So there is high-level pitching going on in all phases of this series between these two schools, who are matching up for the first time ever in district play.
Well, maybe not ever, but
first time in 6A ever.
First time in 6A ever. These two teams did spend some time in the same district, late 90s, early 2000s maybe.
Okay,
it's been quite a while. But yes, it's been quite a while since they were in the same district. Matter of fact, Coach Rowland said there's some people here that used to. They're the parents of the kids that are playing now, and when they were here, they would play against Highland Park. And so there was a bit of a rivalry back then. So
well, I can tell you that this rivalry is going to be a great one in the future in this district. Both teams not only talented this year, but a high-quality young players coming up through the ranks.
Stammel starts Varner off with a curveball for a strike. Varner has a strikeout and a seeing eye single that got knocked down by Latchkowski on the diving into the hole on the right side. He couldn't come up and make a play. One of only 2 hits for the Mustangs. Swings through that one, a good healthy cut, but didn't make any contact. And there is strike 3. Varner knew it, and so did Stevens, and then the umpire jumps into his strike call. Not too dissimilar to Leslie Nielsen.
Oh yes, the naked gun.
Yes,
one of the great ever umpiring scenes in the history of Hollywood.
Yes. Here comes Mr. Schroeder, the Texas Tech signee, against the Richardson.
Can you
Spider.
name Leslie Nielsen's umpire's character name in that film?
Umpire character name.
It's kind of a trick question because the actual umpire's name is never mentioned, but he's identified when he is the umpire by a different name.
Swinging a foul back.
Enrico Palazzo.
Oh yeah.
That's just unfair.
Oh,
but
yeah. And then Reggie Jackson turned zombie and was trying to kill the queen.
That was good stuff.
Funny stuff. Schroeder is responsible for the only run to cross. He hit a fly ball that turned into a sacrifice fly into medium right center field. He takes a strike on that one.
He thought generous strike on the outside part of the plate.
He thought he had ball 4. It was a step and a half towards first when he heard the verbal strike call. Stammel finishes him off with a slow breaking ball, possibly a changeup for strike 3. And that'll bring up Balo. Strikeout and a flyout.
That's
for the basketball player.
9th strikeout for Stammel. So 19 strikeouts between both these guys in this ball game.
We're only at the top of the 6th, or bottom of the 5th, rather. The scoreboard says top of the 6th. He's getting ahead of himself.
We are in the bottom of the 6th.
Bottom of the 6th. Are you kidding? Bottom of the 6th?
Yeah. Time flies when
look at my scorebook.
Time flies when these two guys are pitching. I can completely understand because these guys are working fast and mowing down hitters, and that makes for a surprisingly quick game, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Ball well struck towards center. Rourke going back in front of the warning track, hauls that one in for out number 3. So Stammel has gone 6 and has faced only 3 over the minimum, and yet is trailing 1-0.
And you can see that was one of the best hit balls of the day, and you can see Rourke's athletic ability in center field there. Had a good beat on it, tracked it all the way, and that young man covers a lot of ground very quickly.
So here we go to the 7th. I didn't even realize we were this late in the ball game. I should just look at the inning in my scorebook. I did buy another scorebook, but
and you can
this
see,
is it.
You can see the Richardson J.J. Pearce coaching staff just coming over to confer how many pitches Caden Varner has thrown. So they're going to discuss that, get a sense of, do they need to get somebody going in the bullpen? I don't have a count on him per se, but he has worked very quickly and has not necessarily had to have gone deep into a ton of counts. So I would imagine he's got a lot of juice left in his tank.
Well, he's thrown a lot of strikeouts. That'll get your pitch count up. But
did you hear the most recent trivia question out of the press box?
Lowest ERA with less than 1,000 innings or more pitched.
I thought he said strikeout ratio.
Oh, strikeout ratio, okay. Charlie Schneider has a hit and a walk and looks at a breaking ball for strike one.
Would that be Nolan Ryan?
Could be. Breaking ball again for a strike. Schneider in a quick 0-2 hole. Wind blowing pretty hard towards the left field foul pole from the center field fence. Schneider takes one up high. Schneider has one of the 3 hits by the Scots tonight. This is the 7th. Goodness. If we don't get one here.
This is it for the Scots right here. This is where they have to make some hay.
Schneider showing good discipline, letting that curveball bounce in front of home plate. Taps one, going to be a foul ball at third.
You're on it, Charlie. Let's go. Give it a ride. Find a way, Charlie.
Schneider, Rourke, and Latchkowski.
A great piece of defensive hitting there. That breaking ball was close to unhittable, and he does just a good job of getting enough bat on that, fouling it off, and staying alive for another pitch. Too close to take.
Takes another bouncer up there, 3-2.
He has really worked his tail off to get this count full.
Wind has picked up in just the last couple of minutes. And there's ball 4. Good at bat from Schneider to work that walk.
And now we can see if the 70% rule can work its way in favor of the Scots here.
And the leadoff walk is on Adam Rourke, twice a strikeout victim.
Rob, the Scots have not had the leadoff.
Shows bunt, pulls it back.
Have not had the leadoff guy on all evening.
Until now. And that ends a run of 3, 6, 8 in a row. Schneider had been the last to reach on his single back in the 4th. That one gets away, and that's going to be a free bag. Schneider's going to be at second. Two balls and no strikes. I don't know how that got away from Pringler. It looked like it was going right into his glove and bounced off his glove and back to the backstop. And now the potential tying run is in scoring position. Rourke bunts him to third. Let's see if they're going to get him out at first. They just barely get the throw over to Melendez covering at first. A nice sacrifice bunt. So with one out now, the tying run just 90 feet away. And remember, the backstop is not very far away, and if it goes straight behind the catcher, it's going to come right back to him. Latchkowski swings through one. Latchkowski has a walk and a strikeout.
Yes, a big part of playing this park at catcher is on wild pitches and pass balls, being able to effectively play the carom. And we saw that in the similar ballpark at Richardson. We saw the Eagles playing the carom to perfection.
Latchkowski swings through another one, 0-2.
And I think Coach Yoder's going to take time out. He had something on, and I think Bryce may have missed the sign. And Coach Yoder is going to have a little conversation with his second baseman.
Well, we've seen the Scots with some very aggressive base running this year. Sometimes it's worked out really well, and a couple of times they've run into some outs. This is the situation where you've got to react quickly and decisively and properly if you want to react to something that's bouncing around. There's a pitch that misses. 90% of the Pearce crowd thinks it was a ball. Was a strike.
I think they were ready to celebrate strike three, don't you?
I think they were. 1-2 now to Lachkowski. Infield in. That pitch is also low.
That's low.
Not nearly as many people hollering for the strike on that one.
Great piece of defensive hitting there. Another explosive breaking ball out of the hands of Varner, and Latch just grazing the ball to stay alive. Latch has been a very good contact hitter for the Scots this year, and really that's what you're looking for in this situation, right? You just want to get the ball in play and
see what happens.
See if you can get your guy at third home.
Another one bounces in.
Now, a walk is not the end of the world, on the other hand, if you're Pearce. A walk sets up a double play. You got first base open.
But it also puts a potential lead run on base. The 3-2. In the air to right center field. That should be deep enough to tie the game. Here comes Schneider. A good throw coming from Schroeder, but not in time. We are tied 1-1 with 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
Well,
so good job from Lachkowski of fighting off what he couldn't really hit, and finding one that he could put in play, and got it deep enough to score the run.
I'm going to call this inning a really gutsy inning, one of the gutsiest innings I've seen from the Scots since we've been doing this. They're facing a guy that's a buzzsaw up on the mound, who's pitched a fantastic game and is very difficult to hit. And in both the case of Charlie Schneider and Bryce Lachkowski, got down 0-2.
Yeah.
And fouled off pitches, fought their way back, showed tremendous plate discipline to stay away from stuff that was just outside of the zone, and were able to work their way into earning a walk and getting a sacrifice fly. And we're in a 1-run game, and Caden Varner, who's pitched an absolute gem for Pearce, gets a well-deserved ovation from this crowd.
And Kubats is going to pitch. Is that Degan Kubats? Degan Kubat. A junior. He will come in and replace Varner. Varner pitched a heck of a ball game. Got a run allowed with now 2 outs in the top of the 7th to tie the game at 1.
Yeah, I'll give you his stats in just a second.
Is held by our own Jacob DeGrom right here at the Texas Rangers. Congratulations to Drew Griffin for knowing that.
Jacob DeGrom, currently of the Texas Rangers, is the answer to that trivia question. So Caden Varner, here's the book on him. 6 2/3, allows 1 run on 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Heck of an effort by that young man. And of course, the last walk being
The leadoff walk.
Being the leadoff walk, the only time the Scots have had the leadoff runner on all night, and the 70% rule holds yet again.
So Kubats comes in with only one out to get to end the inning, the top of the 7th. And I would imagine if we go to an 8th, he'd come back out. Scott's got him right where they want him. Top of the order coming up. The 3 captains, Pryor, True, and Stevens, if we get that deep. So Pryor, 2 strikeouts and a ground out on his ledger thus far tonight. Kubats throws a bit harder than Varner did. Comes from the right side instead of the left. Takes an awkward step into his set position, pitching from the stretch. Two and 0.
And he brings it, doesn't he?
He does.
You know, so you face a left-hander that doesn't necessarily bring 90-mile-an-hour stuff, but throws a ton of breaking stuff. And now you got the tall right-hander who throws smoke by you. It's a nice 1-2 punch.
And Schroeder's their closer. Throws harder. Kubats misses outside, 3-1.
Well, they're not 12-2 in the district by accident, are they, Rob?
No. Top of the 7th, 2 outs, 3-1 count to Pryor. He's on base. Here comes Jack True. True's only been on once tonight, that via a walk. A pair of ground outs after that.
And I think if you're Jack, you are thrilled to not be seeing the left-hander. Finally, he gets to see a ball come from the other side.
And this appears to be heavy into his fastball, and it has some giddy up on it.
It does.
Middle infield is playing double play depth.
Now,
they only need 1 out.
If you're Coach Yoder, do you at some point send Pryor here? You know, you got to scratch out a run, 2 outs. You haven't tested the catcher's arm yet.
Well, that's thankfully Coach Yoder's decision. I think you've got the meat of your lineup coming up, and you got a man on in a tight game. I think you let the bats do the talking, but then again, they've been running all year.
How many consecutive hits have you strung together today?
None. There's a ground ball deflected twice, once by the pitcher and once by the second baseman. Neither Kubats nor Melendez could get a decent handle on it. That's going to have to go down as an infield hit for True, and we've got back-to-back runners on with 2 outs. And here comes Parker Stevens, 2 hits and a fly out in his previous at-bats.
And we're going to discuss candlesticks making a nice gift.
And Jose's glove, and Jimmy and Millie getting married.
We've got a lot of stuff to deal with here, Rob.
That was on TV on one of those thousands of cable channels that I have.
I never get
on Sunday night.
That's one of a handful of films. If it's on, you can't help but just watch at least some of it.
Yeah, and it's like you watch 5 minutes, and there's like 3 quotes in there that you can use that are either something that you could throw into a conversation, or try to be funny, or add to a baseball game as we just did. So
now, last night my wife and I watched the ESPN documentary on John Daly.
Oh, wow.
I think it's called like Grip It and Rip It or Hit 'em Hard or something like that.
Yeah, he's going to be coming to town here in a week or two for the Senior Open, isn't he?
He has one of the most beautiful golf swings I have ever seen.
With or without a cigar?
Well, I would not advise anyone to smoke a cigarette. But just in terms of just the way that he can swing a golf club, but he is one talented player.
Stevens looks at the first breaking ball I recall seeing Kubat's throw. That might have been the conversation that they had. You don't want to challenge this guy with a fastball. He's your number 3 hitter for a reason. He's got 2 hits on the night.
That's right.
Two on, 2 out.
At the same time, you want to be careful with him because you do not want to walk the go-ahead run, put him 90 feet from home.
And swing and a foul back. Scott's looking to add to their run total this inning. Ground ball fielded cleanly by Ripley, and that will end the threat. But the Scots did plate a run, and we are even going to the bottom of the 7th.
Right, now I got a question to ask you, Rob.
Okay.
What do you think of the overtime rule? By the way, is this is Jesuits' team in the stands, is it not? I see about 10 kids with Jesuit jerseys.
Well, they were right down the road at
playing Richardson High School, so they want to come over and check this out. Shows you a little bit about District 76A, doesn't it?
Yeah, it do.
You know, they certainly have a vested interest in what happens here.
Walking through in their powder blues, walking mostly behind the cream-colored Pearce Mustangs.
I did not recognize them at first in the powder blue, but very, very Atlanta Braves road uniforms circa like 1982. Okay, so what do you think of the Major League Baseball extra inning rule where you open the inning with a runner on second base?
I do not like it.
I knew you were going to say that.
I understand they're trying to speed up the game, and you do give each team an equal opportunity with a runner on base in scoring position with nobody out, but I don't like it because your pitcher can have really good stuff and get 2 outs, one a ground ball that moves through the runner to third, one a fly ball that scores a run, and you're going to lose a game when your pitcher has done his job. He's come in and gotten outs. He didn't do anything to put the team in a bad situation, and yet he's going to get the loss because there's a runner out there that nobody has any real good explanation.
You are a baseball purist.
Maybe I am.
You are.
Maybe I am.
One of the things I love about you, man, you are a great baseball guy.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
But to play devil's advocate with you for a second, win the game in regulation then. You know, it's overtime, it's extra innings, and it adds great tension and strategy to what you're doing, and it does put more pressure on pitchers because now you got to pitch in a different way with a guy in scoring position, and you know maybe you got to try to pitch for the strikeout in a way that you wouldn't have to with the bases clear, and it's a different kind of pressure, and it just makes watching the game more fun.
Rosenblum starts off by popping one to second. Laczkowski runs that one down. 1 pitch, 1 out. Stammel still out on the mound for the Scots. I hesitate in my speech because I'm trying to keep a book and as I write and announce on the game. So I noticed that when I was critiquing myself, I hesitate a lot when I talk. Swinging a foul. This is Pringler, the catcher. He has a walk and a strikeout.
And has called an excellent game back there.
So what do you think of the ghost runner rule in Major League Baseball?
I love it.
You are not a baseball purist.
Well, it doesn't mean I don't love watching the game. It just means that, I love the tension of it.
Yeah, it does add a little extra stress, and it gives people like us a chance to talk about baseball.
I want to see pitchers under stress. I want to see hitters under stress. My favorite golf tournament every year, as much as I love the Masters, and I dearly love the Masters, it's my second favorite, but my favorite is the U.S. Open, especially where they jack up and trick up the course and just make the rough so...
Ground ball towards short. Schneider knocks it down, picks it up, makes the throw. Oh, my gosh. Knock it down at your feet, pick it up, and deliver the throw. One hop to Ellis, who stays on the bag. 2 down. Nice play both ends there.
Yeah, knock it down, pick it up, get it over, and pick it clean at first. And great job by Schneider, and a beautiful little backhand pick by the judge.
Now batting number 16, Mustangs first baseman, A.J.
Ripley, the first baseman tonight, Friday night starting pitcher. Last year's pitcher of the year in the district, takes one down at his shoes. Just a junior. Pitcher of the year last year as a sophomore. We're going to be treated to something similar to Max Stammel from the other team on Friday night. 2-0 to Ripley. Stammel looking to complete his 7th inning, having allowed only 2 hits and a run. Those 2 hits bunched together with a hit by pitch in the 3rd inning, in which the Mustangs scored their only run. And there's a miss down low. 3 balls and no strikes. Even with 2 outs, you really don't want to put. There's a loose ball on the field. Have no idea where that came from. It's extremely white. Is that even a baseball? And it bounces kind of funny. I think it's a rubber baseball. So some kids playing home run derby or something somewhere. Somebody got a hold of one. The 3-0, breaking ball for a strike.
Yeah, Ripley taking all the way there.
Yeah, he was definitely not in a stance to take a swing. Now 3-1. In the stance to take a swing and fouls that one at his shoes. Now a full count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Ground ball towards short. Schneider a little more conventionally gathers this one. On the run to first, delivers the throw to Ellis, and we go to extra baseball. So you'll notice there won't be a runner on second base here. We just start the 8th inning, and my brand new scorebook only has 9 innings in it. Why would they do that to me?
I'll say this, though. We talked about the fact that we were going to see some outstanding pitching, and then we talked about the fact that the defense would also be very high level in this series. Take a look at that scoreboard. 1-1, 4 hits, 2 hits, but what's the last number there? A couple of zeros in the error column. If the ball is going to get hit, it's going to get fielded. And we've seen some infield hits to be sure, but those have been earned.
Yes. Toughest out in history of baseball, probably either Pete Rose or Ty Cobb. Got to be one of those guys. So this is, though, the type of game where one little misplay
sure
could turn things. Also, one really good hit. And that good hit, sure, everybody loves the home run. Chicks dig the long ball. But that could also be a 2-out double off the wall to score a run or two.
No doubt. No doubt. And
so
it's not hard to get the ball to the wall in this ballpark.
So this is one of those one little something games. One little something is going to turn the tide for a team. It could end up being a 2-1 game. It could end up being a 6-1 game. But there's going to be one little thing.
But to your point, what you don't want to do is magnify that with errors that are in your control. You don't want to walk people. You don't want to hit batters. You want to make sure that your opponent earns everything that they get, and you may give up a hit, but you don't want to give anybody a free pass.
We were either buzzed by a bat or one of the biggest moths that Gabe Scott and I have ever seen.
It is moth season.
And bat season. Breaking ball.
And speaking of high level, speaking about doing things at high level, how about Gabe and Cookie? What a fantastic job that those two guys do for Game On Sports Productions.
Line drive, one hopper to first. Ripley down to a knee to scoop and make the play. And that's one down. That'll bring up the scoop on the other end, Judge Ellis. Fly ball, ground ball, and a strikeout in his 3 at-bats.
And I have felt my first raindrop here, Rob.
Yeah, I've seen a couple hit my scorebook. Kubat's throwing more breaking balls this inning than last.
To be fair, one of the reasons they moved this game up is because the forecast call for thunderstorms in the latter part of the evening. So you'd like to see that not be a factor here between these two fine teams.
When I was talking with Coach Rowland, he said in the event of weather, it looked like Wednesday was going to be worse than Tuesday. If they had to push this game, they'd push it to Thursday. So if we get to the point where we have to push to complete, that might also be pushed to Thursday. I'm just talking. I got my fingers crossed. I'm not wishing any of this upon anybody. There's a foul ball.
Well, they're scheduled to play Friday.
Yes.
So if this game were to get, and of course I'm speculating here, we're a long way from this point, but if it were to get delayed, wouldn't you just play kind of a mini doubleheader and finish it Friday and then
Nobody
play?
wants to give up what little bit of home field advantage they can. They would finish this game probably Thursday right here where we are, and then play the whole game on Friday at Scotland Yard.
Think of the inefficiency of that.
Exactly. We could come out here and play 4 outs. And there's one that somehow
How did that not hit him?
It hit the catcher's mitt. It had to be the catcher's mitt because Ellis didn't run down to first. Somebody said it hit him. It hit something. It had to be the catcher's mitt. But
well, Judge is a guy that has the ability in one swing to change the complexion of this game.
That's all it takes. Ground ball towards second. Not that swing. Melendez, he's been good tonight. Gets that ball over to Ripley, 2 down. That'll bring up Connor Cornell, the 3rd batter to bat in this position. Chan has batted twice and Wall once. It's all resulted in a ground out and 2 strikeouts. See what Connor can do here. Got to speak with his mom a little bit after the game the other night at Scotland Yard. She's very nice. I love talking to the parents when we get even the assistant coaches from Richardson on Saturday were talking about how they were watching us.
That's right. They were watching us from the press box.
Swing and a miss. Good cut on a good fastball.
It's good community overall in 7-6A. A lot of good folks.
I agree. Catcher set up way outside. Cornell had to back away from it, up and in. Catcher asked if he checked his swing. I didn't think the bat even left the area where his hands were to even look like a swing.
In the meantime, that's some 90-mile-an-hour cheese right up into his chin.
Probably 90 plus, and if he swings through that one, and that is strike 3, we go to the bottom of the 8th. We are knotted up at 1. See Coach Yoder taking his time walking across the infield there. Travis Yoder, Bobby Leidner, Austin Honeycutt, the coaches tonight. Justin Rowland is the head coach for the Pearce Mustangs. His assistants are Justin Whiteside and Bradley Dunavant. Actually, Dunavant does their JV team, and Adam Forbes does their freshman team.
Well, Max Stamel has completed his outing. 7 innings pitched. 1 run on 2 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 strikeouts.
Good outing. Schneider getting on base and moving around to score got him out of the 1-0 hole, so he doesn't get a loss. Did allow only the second earned run he's allowed this year. That'll double his ERA from .18 to...
Well, the sad truth is when your ERA is 0.18, it can only go one direction from there.
Yeah, but 7 innings and only 1 run allowed, so that's a good outing. But
I guess the team chock full of hitters.
Yes.
That's been a magnificent outing for Max.
So Caden Liner, who hit what they said was a personal best 88 miles an hour on Saturday, will come in. He'll face the bottom third of the order, Sessions, who was hit by a pitch and scored the only run of the game for the Mustangs back in the 3rd. Again, they bunched together that hit by pitch and their only 2 hits of the night. Liner starts him off with a slider on the outside corner for strike 1.
And you got to love Caden Liner's tempo. He gets that ball back from the catcher, and he is ready to fire it back again.
Oh, and that pitch looked better than the first, and it's called a ball, 1-1. And Liner's already ready to pitch. Sessions just takes his second breath. Ground ball towards the middle. Latchkowski playing deep. Gloves it, gets the throw over just in time. 1 down.
Well, Latch was...
If he wasn't playing that deep, he wasn't going to get to that.
Latch was playing in right field. He was playing a shallow right field, and then ball hit hard enough where he ranging to his right, able to backhand that ball over, almost over second base, and Bryce with a very strong arm, able to retire Sessions.
Luke Mitchell will pinch hit. Mitchell was listed as one of their returning starters coming in this year. Takes a fastball outside. It's a pretty deep ball club, too, because they've got a couple other pitchers that we know about, but we also have been told who their starting pitcher is going to be. And they've got 2 or 3 more guys other than Ripley and Kubats and Werner. Liner finally finds the strike zone, 3-1. Villegas on deck, one of their 2 hits. There's just the 5th base runner of the night for the Scots as Mitchell takes a walk.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, pinch running at first base. For the Mustangs, number 3, Sam Kinder. Kinder, pinch runner at first base.
And Kinder will be the pinch runner at first. Now Villegas, back in the 3rd, showed bunt, pulled it back, and lined a base hit.
He did. That was pretty skillful of him. And
see Pryor in looking bunt.
I would definitely expect some small ball here.
Stevens feints a throw and gets Kinder to dive back into first.
I mean, you need 1 run. Hits have been so hard to come by. And you got your designated runner, your speed guy, on first. 1 out. Seems like the perfect time.
Villegas again shows and pulls back the bunt. Takes a breaking ball outside for ball 2. And Coach Yoder's going to come in and talk to him. They're going to pull the whole infield in. They're going to talk defense and pitch selection. Probably a little bit different bunt defense here. We've seen the Scots execute several different bunt defenses, so they have plenty of choices, I'm sure, that are well practiced. With only 1 runner on, you get first and third both charging. Second base goes to first, shortstop goes to second. You just have to be wary of covering third after you get the out at first, because we've seen the Scots take advantage of teams selling out the infield to cover a bunt. They want to make sure they don't get Villegas again shows and pulls back the bunt and takes a strike this time. He's showing bunt awful early.
He was, and he was taking all the way there at 2-0 because that ball was a fastball right over the plate. And that was a very buntable pitch.
Decent run, lead from Kinder. Fakes going. So Stevens fakes throwing. And he retreats. The ball was not over the plate. 3-1 now to Villegas. Shows bunt really early and steps back completely out of the batter's box almost and takes a strike.
He's stepping out of the batter's box while Caden is still in his windup almost.
And now with a full count, he'll have to either swing the bat or not.
He certainly won't be bunting.
There goes the runner, and the ball is fouled back again towards Cookie's car.
Ooh.
Oh, that one got a truck. Stop thief. Stop thief. Oh, well, I guess that's just the bump from the foul ball. Looked like he hit the white truck, but the RAV4 has the security system creating a little noise for us. 3-2 again. Runner didn't go. Ground ball right at Ellis, but it's going to be a foul ball. Had it been fair, it would have been a step on the bag and try to get the tag at second situation, because he was right on the bag.
And they wouldn't have gotten a runner at second, so that would have been effectively a long bunt.
So again, the full count. 3-2, 1 out, 1 on. Bottom of the 8th, tie ball game. And that's going to be ball 4. That's what you didn't want to see. Runner, the winning run at second base now. 1 out. So the double play and the infield fly rule are in effect. And we go back to the top of the order. Little bit of rain coming down. You can see drizzling down next to the lights. Can feel a drop every now and then.
Yeah, you don't want that to be a factor. You want this game to finish up.
And they've got him picked off, and they threw it into the up. Oh no! And that's going to be your ball game. Remember when I said one little thing can do it? And that was it. The throw goes wide at second, gets past the outfielder, and goes all the way to the wall. And that is your ball game. The sad part about that is they had the runner dead if they got the throw right at the bag or on the shortstop side of the bag, but it was well over to the second baseman side of the bag and could not be caught, and then got past the center fielder as well, and that is your ball game. That's a terrible way to lose, but like I said, that's one little thing can change the ball game.
And that's unfortunate. The Scots had played a tremendous game defensively all game long, and two good ball clubs. You hate to see it end that way, but just a little fissure there on the part of that throw. It's certainly something you work on quite a bit defensively, but that time the throw just a little bit off the mark, and it gets out into center field, and
the rain is coming, and we're going to try to wrap it up really fast. Hey, we will see you Friday night at Scotland Yard. Hopefully the Scots can even this series up, and then we'll have to play again on Saturday. Thank you for watching Highland Park Scots.